This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. It's a freaking Tuesday. As Warlord mentioned, it is an election day. Thus, the graphics. I'm gonna have to get in the floor. I'm going to have to get in the floor. Oh, goddamn. You watch the freak show, that is a common occurrence. I get in the floor. That time, actually, I had to make an adjustment to some equipment. And I did not have the remote handy. What is up, Ginger, Toads, Warlord, RB? Yes, weed indeed. Weed! White on white action, that's the way I thought Warlord was describing his porn searches. Because, sir, we all know exactly where you live.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Meanwhile, in the United States, now seems like a perfectly reasonable time to force people to have children. Jesus. Yes, we're going to talk about the leaked reporting that Roe v. Wade will indeed be overturned. We don't know that they were lovers. Everyone is speculating that, and yes, that seems like the simplest explanation, that they were indeed banging. But we don't know that for a fact. Looks like Smokey wants back in. You see him standing at the door right there. He came in and he yelled. He's like, "Row!" Damn cat. Yeah, I'm not high enough for this shit. Take RB's advice. Do some weed! Talking about tonight. Cops. We're gonna talk about cops. Link to the meme. Best I can do is probably like where I posted it on Facebook. Or I can drop it in the Discord. Totally do that. I've posted some banger memes today on Facebook. Here is the link to where I posted this meme on Facebook earlier. I believe I got it from an Oops OC or Oops All OC memes or something like that. I'm in a couple of those groups, and that's how I post such fire fucking memes, is like stealing them from that group of people that are meme creators. No, I also add memes every now and again. Don't worry, I contribute to the society. I'm not just leeching off of it. I assure you. I'm still not high enough for this shit. You're welcome. I'm happy to share our butthole. Our butthole. Buttholes are communist. Oh, some of you may not know that. That's a running joke with if it's even a joke. Sparkles and I, is that buttholes are communists. Everybody's butthole. Leeching off the producer. Wait, what? Are you saying? Did you post that somewhere? Because if you did, I didn't see it. My apologies. Flaming butthole? What I had last night after I made spaghetti. I looked at Curiouser and I said, you want a little spice to it? You want some red pepper flakes in there? Yeah. It was spicy and it was cheesy. My God, it was baked spaghetti. Made a baked spaghetti. And it tore my fucking stomach up. But it was good. Flaming butthole. That's That's what I was feeling last night. Kind of looks like Patrick's got a flaming butthole right there. The way the fire is positioned behind him. Fuck, what are we talking about tonight? We got some news to talk about, don't we? Oh yeah, it is primary day in Indiana and Ohio. Talk about the races. Indiana's not that exciting. Ohio has some national implications. We're going to look especially at the Senate race in Ohio. Talk about the leaked Supreme Court. Apparently the majority opinion on Roe v. Wade. It seems that the vote is going to be 5-4 to overturn Wade, with Chief Justice Roberts joining the liberals. Apparently he wanted to decide with, I believe it was Missouri in the case, but didn't want to strike down Roe v. Wade. We're going to talk about the leak. A GOP panel has been talking about how they want a panel to probe the leak. On an investigation into the leak of the Supreme Court opinion. Gonna get Biden's reaction to it. Plus, apparently this local news hit talked to people on both sides that were there protesting. That should be fun. No, not fun. None of this is fun. Especially not. We're going to hear from Michael Knowles and his opinion on the SCOTUS revelation today. That's certainly not going to be fun. I'm going to have to content warning that one. We're going to talk about the Supreme Court and the Christian flag. Apparently the city of Boston lost a case where a Christian group wanted to display the Christian flag on city grounds. I believe the liberals joined with the conservatives in this one. It was a unanimous decision. I might be wrong about it being unanimous, but I'm pretty certain that Breyer joined with the conservatives. Gonna have to vet all the flags now. Oh, we're going to talk about cops tonight. I don't want to talk about cops. Some cops been up to no good. What else is new? And I didn't even mention, Sheriff Villeneuve in LA County. God, I didn't even put that on the list. A Philadelphia cop has been charged in the death of a kid. The name of a cop has been released. A DC shooting. Apparently they shot a woman who had a semi-automatic rifle. The body cam footage has not been released as apparently the family has requested that it not be released. Cops in Florida shot a kid over some Pokemon cards. I'm sure that was justified. There is a video out of Louisiana of a cop punching a woman in the face, causing quite a stir. Oh! Got some good. We talked about climate change last night. I've got some good news for you in terms of climate change. The lakes are now getting so depleted due to climate change. Cops are finding bodies. So that is a plus to the whole climate change debate. Cops are finding more dead bodies thanks to the lack of water in lakes. Oh my God. We live in a dystopian society. First go to the Columbus Dispatch. We live in a society. This is a little AP piece here. Let's illuminating.
Come on up, JD.
A lot of people around the country are waiting to see what Ohio does in the Republican Senate race. A lot of people want to know whether or not Donald Trump's endorsement means something. We've not seen a lot of good polling since the Donald Trump endorsement of J.D.
Sassy Snicks, welcome.
Trends suggest that Vance is coming up quickly to compete with Mandel and Gibbons. So in that three-way race, you'd have to give the energy nod to Vance, and Mandel appears to be on the dwindle, and Gibbons may also be.
I thought Vance was polling in like
having said
third.
that, it will be close. Even the candidates who did not receive Donald Trump's endorsement will still try to align themselves with his legacy and with his presidency because they know
Let them.
Republicans look favorably on Donald Trump.
So I was kind of confused of who to vote for, and I wasn't happy with Jane anymore.
This poor woman. I feel sorry for you, ma'am, with your American flag shawl and your Trump 2020 hat. Hey, Smokey, I'm doing something right now.
I was working with Josh. Josh and Matt were up there, and it was actually Trump's endorsement.
I love all the Trump people are listening to some Guns N' Roses, really getting down.
To kick things off, by the way. Well, first of all, thank y'all for. Here we go.
Buddy, I'm trying to do a stream.
I want Morgan to win, man, to really take the ODP.
Morgan Harper is a very attractive candidate in many ways. I mean, she has skills, natural skills that are.
That is very creepy coming from you, Dale Butland.
She is smart as a whip. But her politics are so far left.
Oh, you don't care.
Probably best described as Bernie Sanders in a pantsuit.
Tim Ryan, a big C.
Bernie Sanders in a pantsuit. Sounds good to me. If Bernie wants to wear a pantsuit, let him do it.
Same language as Sherrod Brown. He talks about the dignity of work. He talks about how working families need help. That's the kind of thing that if we can win some
Sherrod Brown has been a fantastic senator from Ohio.
voters back that we need desperately in a place like Ohio, if anyone and if any pitch can do it, it's going to be that kind of pitch.
All right. Hi, everybody. How y'all doing?
This is DeWine seeking re-election.
So Mike DeWine is the heavy favorite to win both the Republican primary and the general election. Renacci has a track record of being in Congress and has done some conservative things. He's been a business owner. He's not made an effective case for replacing Mike DeWine.
I always used to say that Mike DeWine's held virtually every office. He's been a prosecutor, he's been a congressman, he's been an attorney general, he's been a senator. He's
seriously, I don't like anything about this dude, especially the way he was talking about that
filing fee in his hand. The Democratic candidate,
young lady candidate earlier,
emerges from this primary as the nominee is not well known around the state. But if I had to predict today, I would predict Cranley narrowly. Nan Whaley is perceived as being, and maybe is, a little more progressive.
Hell yeah, Kate Craig. Didn't she run for something 2020? I believe Real Me was friends with her on Facebook. Oh, here, let me turn on the nightlight so I'm not like white. Then Real Me's account got taken down. There are 7 Republicans and 3 Democrats in the primary for the Ohio Senate seat. Former President Donald Trump shook up the race when he endorsed J.D. Vance in the GOP primary, but former State Treasurer Josh Mendel, a leading candidate before the endorsement, is not backing down. I do not know what time polls close. Polls close at 7:30. I do believe they're on Central Time, so that means we are coming up on the polls closing. There are two Democratic candidates in the governor's race. So up for election is the Attorney General, the Auditor of the State, and the Secretary of State. Ohio's Eastern Time. Okay, then polls already closed, and damn. Do not have any results yet? Maybe the Dayton Dispatch didn't have the live update, but I've got it here from the New York Times. Tim Ryan projected the Democratic winner in the Senate primary. That's no surprise. J.D. Vance, so far, leading the Republican primary. Tim Ryan will be the Democrats' nominee for Senate in Ohio. He's a pretty centrist, fucking shit-lib type. Recalled by the Associated Press came as a little surprise. He had long been considered the clear front-runner in the contest. Seat being vacated by Rob Portman. If Ryan were to win, it would be a pickup. Brother of former Vice President Mike Pence won re-election to Congress in Indiana. Representative Greg Pence, a Republican, and the older brother of former Vice President Mike Pence won re-election in a deep red district in eastern Indiana. The Associated Press reported days after winning an endorsement from former President Donald J. Trump. So, Trump endorsed Pence's brother. Wow. Greg Pence does not speak much about his younger brother, making only passing reference to him on the campaign website and infrequent references to him on social media. But he did express support for his sibling after the former vice president gave a speech saying Mr. Trump was wrong in claiming that he had the legal authority to change the results of the 2020 presidential election. It will not be Trump-Pence in 2024. Now, who might it be? That's a very good question. Speculation has been Nikki Haley. What's her name from South Dakota? Trump and Brother Pence. That's who Warlord is calling. Wouldn't that be interesting? Redistricting could put a Cincinnati House seat in play for Democrats. Representative Steve Cabot, the longtime Cincinnati Republican whose U.S. House district has undergone a tectonic shift toward Democrats, Ohio's widely disputed new political map, handily secured the GOP nomination on Tuesday in what is expected to be a toss-up race this fall. Mr. Cabot, 69, nice, defeated Jen Giroux, anti-abortion activist and registered nurse in the Republican primary in Ohio's first House district. Polls have indeed closed in all of Ohio's 88 counties. Ohio's 13th district will be a key race for the House majority. State Representative Leah Sykes, a Democrat, is unopposed. The Republican side has a crowded primary with a Trump-endorsed candidate, Madison Gilbert, a conservative commentator. And is a reliably red state, and as such has fewer competitive races to track, but there are a pair of congressional races worth noting. State's deeply red 9th Congressional District, 9 Republicans are running to replace Representative Trey Hollingsworth, a Republican who notably joined Democrats in voting to create the January 6th Commission. Chabot, you may be right on that. Chabot. The polls have closed in 80 of Indiana's 92 counties, including the city of Indianapolis, are in the Eastern Time Zone, but will remain open for another hour in the state's 12 other counties, including the city of Gary, on Central Time. Polls had been open for 12 hours starting at 6 a.m. local time across the state. Democrats still holding the lead right now. Doesn't tell us how many of the precincts are reporting. Governor Mike DeWine holds off his GOP primary challengers. Be heading to the general election. I wonder if that one is even going to be close. He seemed to be a pretty popular governor in Ohio. So Democrats may not stand a shot at picking that seat up. Not seat, the governor's seat. I was the governorship. Democrats are probably poised to lose several governorships. Unfortunately. Move on to talking about Roe v. Wade. We're going to come back and check in with the primary results. What abortion access would look like if Roe v. Wade is overturned. What immediately happen in each state if Roe v. Wade is overturned. States in blue have a codified right to abortion, so those are the states where it will still be legal. Abortion would be banned immediately in states like Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, Texas, Oklahoma, Idaho, Utah, South Dakota, North Dakota, Wyoming. Abortion would immediately become illegal in at least 13 states if the Supreme Court were to overturn Roe v. Wade, as is looking very likely. A leak of the court's draft opinion yesterday. Or would likely follow suit quickly. I would guess it'd be around 24, 25. Follow the same number that usually pass the, trans athlete bans and shit like that. Supreme Court is considering a challenge to a Mississippi law that bans abortions after the 15th week of pregnancy. I think I said Missouri earlier. My apologies. It was Mississippi. I get my M states mixed up. I could have said Montana. Its decision could throw Roe's survival into question, or at least narrow its scope. A ruling is expected as soon as June. Now, apparently this draft opinion that leaked yesterday was written in February. Court were to ultimately overturn the precedents that established the constitutional right to an abortion, a patchwork of state laws would govern the procedure. Wyoming is the 13th state to pass a trigger law, an abortion ban that would kick in right away if the court completely overturns its precedents. 4 states, Alabama, Louisiana, Tennessee, and West Virginia, have even amended their state constitutions to prohibit any protections for abortion rights. Oklahoma state lawmakers passed a bill in late April that would modify the language of the trigger law to ban abortions if the court overrules in whole or in part Roe and Planned Parenthood versus Casey. Several other states don't have trigger laws in place, but would likely move quickly to ban or tightly restrict the procedure if the court clears the way. Florida, Indiana, Montana, and Nebraska would be prime candidates. Florida would go right for it. According to analysis from the Guttmacher Institute, a reproductive rights research organization, Alabama, Georgia, Iowa, Ohio, and South Carolina have all enacted restrictive laws that were then blocked by federal courts. They could try to revive those policies in a post-Roe world. At least 9 states have pre-Roe abortion bans still on the books. Those would not immediately take effect even if Roe disappears. Elizabeth Nash, a lead state policy analyst for the Guttmacher Institute, a reproductive rights research and policy organization, told Axios back in February it would take some kind of action, Nash said, such as an attorney general issuing an opinion, a state filing a court case, etc. Some states, it might even be easier to pass a new law prohibiting abortion instead of starting the process to make a pre-Roe ban take effect, Nash noted. As I said, a House panel of Republicans is seeking a DOJ probe into the Supreme Court leak of the draft opinion. Republican members of the House Oversight Committee on Tuesday sent a letter to the Justice Department requesting an investigation into the leak of a draft Supreme Court opinion overturning Roe v. Wade. The request comes as Republicans are making the leak and its impact on judicial norms the focus of their response, in contrast with Democrats who have largely seized on the contents of the ruling. What if the facts aren't in your favor, pound the table, or if the facts are in your favor, pound the facts. If the facts aren't in your favor, pound the table. Some old legal adage that I'm sure I'm fucking up. Pound the process. That's what I honestly fucked it right. Not even gonna try. If you don't have facts on your side, you go after the process, basically. Got neither on your side, you just yell real loudly. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said during a news conference on Tuesday afternoon that the leak, not the opinion, is the story for today. Members in a letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland obtained by Axios said the leak represents one of the most fundamental and troubling breaches of Supreme Court confidentiality and secrecy in its history. Don't even know who leaked it. It could be right-wing activists who don't want to see Roe v. Wade struck down. Staff side, one of the right-wing justices. It wasn't necessarily one of the liberal justices. Hear what Biden had to say. I think this is like a NBC
Well, tonight,
News
as we
or
gauge
something.
reaction
CBS News.
across the country, our latest CBS News poll shows that a majority of Americans do not agree with overturning Roe versus Wade. 62% of Americans want that 1973 ruling to remain in place, while 38% want it struck down. We're hearing tonight from not just voters.
So here's the thing: is there seems to be a very coordinated effort by Republicans. Like they're all on the same page. There's some memo going around about how they can capitalize on this news. So that's why, like, it kind of seems like the right-wing side of the court leaked it. Really. Could be for a multitude of reasons. But then they go on this morally self-righteous rant about all the process and the leaks, and they were all on point. They got the memo, and there literally is a memo.
But also lawmakers, including President Biden. From the White House now with the fast-moving developments, here's CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
Yes, some of them, Arby is right. Some of them have called it a coup.
Biden strongly criticized the High Court's leaked draft.
It concerns me a great deal that we're going to, after 50 years, decide a woman does not have a right to choose. If this decision holds, it's really...
He's pulling that Trump move. Trump always used to give order statements with like the helicopter for what, Air Force 2 or whatever the fuck it's called, White House lawn, so that they could say the reporters misheard him because of the engine noise. Kind of bullshit. Marine One, there you go. Thank you, Warlord, the British person who knew that, and I didn't. Marine One, I knew it was called something like that. Air Force 2, Marine One, something. Fuck it. Who cares?
Quite a radical decision.
On Capitol Hill, the news infuriated members on both sides. Republicans upset about the leak.
As someone who spent an entire career litigating before the Supreme Court, I'm utterly horrified.
And Democrats worried about the potential legal consequences.
This is
Ted Cruz is utterly horrified about the leak, not the overturning of precedent.
5-alarm fire. I am angry. Angry and upset.
Good on you.
Democratic leaders denounced the 3 conservative justices nominated by former President Donald Trump and accused them of lying to the U.S. Senate and defiling the Supreme Court's reputation.
I got news for you. They ain't gonna do shit about it. Elizabeth Warren, she may be angry, but she ain't gonna do fucking shit about it. You wanna know why? Because Manchin and Sinema are still standing in the way. They will not kill the filibuster. Gotta kill the filibuster in order to, 1, pack the courts, 2, codify Roe v. Wade into law. Either of those things, take the nuclear option, take out the filibuster. Ain't happening. Sinema supposedly was a feminist at one point in time.
2 moderate Republicans who also support abortion rights agreed. Alaska's Lisa Murkowski.
If it goes in the direction that this leaked copy has indicated, I will just tell you that it rocks my confidence in the court right now.
Maine's Susan Collins said reversing Roe would be completely inconsistent with what Justices Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh told her before their confirmation. The president said lawmakers supporting abortion.
I got a meme for that, too. If this linked draft opinion is the final decision, and this reporting is accurate, it would be completely inconsistent with what Justice Gorsuch, Justice Kavanaugh said in their hearings and in our meetings in my office. Anyone with a fucking brain. You really think Republicans would do that? Just lie right to my face about wanting to ban abortion? Yes. Yes, I do, Susan Collins. Yes, I do.
Abortion rights should write them into law.
I think the codification of Roe makes a lot of sense.
Collins and Murkowski
You ain't got the votes!
narrowly protect abortion rights, but oppose a Democratic bill that broadly prevents federal and state governments from limiting access to abortion. The bill is stalled in the Senate, but Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says he'll force a vote. But Republicans who oppose it, on record.
This is as urgent and as
They ain't got enough Republican support. They can't kill the filibuster. Ain't gonna pass.
Abortion rights
Bullshit.
will be a big factor.
The contours of the November election this year changed.
The bombshell leak was on the mind of several voters casting ballots in Ohio's primary today.
I felt particularly emboldened to come out today and I don't know, a sense of responsibility, especially with a lot of like the reproductive rights discussions coming out of the Supreme Court.
I'm going to trust and hope that the Supreme Court does their job and does it impartially, and that this little stunt doesn't affect their rulings.
While Justice Samuel Alito writes in the draft decision that the ruling should only concern the right to abortion, the president said today that if it's approved, it could ultimately affect other rights, like the right to same-sex marriage, birth
They're
control,
coming for
and
Ogerfield.
privacy. Nora?
Ed O'Keefe, thank you.
Probably birth control as well. The right to birth control will be taken down. This is a news hit that apparently
but not
talks to
everybody
people on
holds
both
strong
sides.
opinions on abortion, but for a great many people, the court's eventual decision will be a cause for celebration or maybe dismay.
Megan Woods has been speaking with people who are invested on both sides of the debate. Good evening, Megan.
Good evening. So Planned Parenthood advocates of Michigan and Right to Life of Michigan, they're on both or separate sides of this debate, but today they can.
Here is a link
one
to the Amazon listing. I don't encourage you to use Amazon. Fuck you, Amazon, I say on Twitch. There's the Amazon listing for a Plan B. That apparently is for 150 pounds. They recommend this one over 150 pounds. Pill that's right for you. I saved those links. I have several feminist friends. I saw them share it out. If you feel the need, do stock up.
The fact that there's still work to be done, and two,
it wouldn't hurt to stock up just in case someone around you was in need. And you never know who that might be.
that this leak comes as a shock.
I think there's definitely concern. You know, this is a breach of our Supreme Court, of our government.
I was completely disappointed in the way in which this was done.
Planned Parenthood advocates of Michigan say they were anticipating this type of opinion, but it's a wake-up call to others.
It was devastating that it was leaked because
perfectly reasonable time to force people to have children.
Our supporters and the people who this will impact the most really have the understanding of how this is going to impact their lives.
This leak doesn't necessarily mean a victory for right to life for Michigan. Anna Visser, Director of Communications and Education, says they are cautiously optimistic.
We are excited to see that there is a possibility that Roe v. Wade could get overturned. I think we were also very shocked.
So there is still a fight.
The opinion that came out last night was simply a draft opinion. It was not their official decision. However, it looks and feels like an official opinion.
We don't, you don't want to jump the gun and assume that this is what is going to happen. So we're waiting for an official opinion from the justices.
Could this be a setup by Republicans? So the right wing of the court leaks this draft opinion. They end up not striking down Roe v. Wade. They say it's like, the justices caved to the pressure from the woke mob and everything, and they still ride that wave of contempt into the midterm elections. So to me, it seems like if they strike down Roe v. Wade, that's motivating for Democrats come the midterms. That wouldn't be what they would want to do. But now to walk right up to the line to do everything but strike down Roe v. Wade, release this draft opinion that we tried, but we had too much pressure. Seems to be like a expedient political move. That's just me speculating, though.
Both local organizations are still hard at work. Like Mara had mentioned earlier, Planned Parenthood is in the Capitol. They still have petitions circulating, while Right to Life, they say they were in Lansing.
I know, Mandy. It's
with
fucking
lawmakers.
sad.
Back to you.
Okay, Megan, we appreciate it.
Regardless of what's ahead, the Supreme Court's leaked opinion already matters. Right now at clickondetroit.com, Devin Skilling lays out the impact it could have on upcoming elections. You'll find his blog on the national news page and the politics page.
One thing's for sure, this is a very personal issue for a lot of people, and that's the focus of a story Stephanie Gosk is working on for.
It is a very personal issue. That's why other people should keep their noses out of other people's fucking business. I mean, now it just seems like the right time for me to run it down again. You can't convince me that bringing a child into this world in less than ideal circumstances isn't child abuse. You can't change my mind on that position. This is a morality call. There is no objective right or wrong. So the only just position is pro-choice. Knows out of other people's fucking business. And the legal rationale for why Roe v. Wade was even a thing was that you can't violate a woman's Fourth Amendment right to privacy. You can't violate her medical privacy on behalf of a person that doesn't exist. The fetus has no rights. They have no legal rights. You have to make up some legal status for a fetus in order to give it precedent over a woman's right to privacy. And the story is heart-wrenching of how abortion came to be legalized in the first place. There was a group of women. They had babies that had been disfigured by this chemical. It was a foreign chemical we were importing. I believe it came from Britain. And it was causing mass birth defects. And like these women were giving birth to babies that would live a couple of years and die, and they would live these agonizing lives. They gave testimony in front of Congress that really was the impetus for the Congress didn't do shit about it. It ended up being the court that codified the right to abortion, Roe v. Wade. But that was the impetus that set off the fight for abortion rights in this country. It's heartbreaking. Thalidomide? Thalidomide? I think that is it. People don't fucking know the story. So we get dipshit opinions like Michael Knowles from the Daily Wire, because I'm sure I'm not high enough for this, and I've cashed my bowl out. Michael Knowles says this is the most important political development in the last 50 years.
Supreme Court Politico is reporting a leak of the Supreme Court's opinion in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health. This is the decision that could overrule Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood v. Casey. This is the decision that could potentially obliterate the completely fictional national right to an abortion that was established in 1973. The leak itself is shocking, unprecedented. You've never seen this kind of a breach of trust from...
Oh, the leak! The leak is shocking.
The decision that we've got.
By the way, since we're playing this clip from the Daily Wire, I just want to remind everybody that I did indeed get turned down. Justin, thank you for your application to Daily Wire. We appreciate the opportunity to review your application for the assistant video editor role. Unfortunately, we have decided not to move your application forward. Very sad, since inside my application, I put that Matt Walsh said that I was...
Justin Freakin, the formidable voice in the culture.
Said that I was a formidable voice in the culture, and I'll link to my YouTube trailer of him saying exactly that. Which is well edited. I mean, if you're watching that, one of your hosts called me a formidable voice in the culture. I've been retweeted by your CEO. And I had a very well edited YouTube trailer. And you're not going to hire me, Daily Wire? What the fuck is wrong with you? And you've got jackasses like Michael Knowles employed? Come the fuck on.
A 98-page draft of Justice Sam Alito writing the opinion of the court. According to this leak, if the leak is legit, the Supreme Court is voting to overrule Roe versus Wade and Planned Parenthood v. Casey. The court is voting to overrule national abortion. Most important decision in my lifetime, if this is legit, from the draft. Quote, Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. Its reasoning was exceptionally weak, and
one of the most important decisions in my lifetime was Gore v. Bush, or Bush v. Gore. Yeah, that's how it would have been. Bush v. Gore. Because if the Supreme Court hadn't stopped the count, we would be on a completely different timeline right now if Al Gore had won in 2000. God damn. Michael Knowles might not even be sitting behind that microphone.
Decision has had damaging consequences. And far from bringing about a national settlement of the abortion issue, Roe and Casey...
Okay, so here's the thing about the Satanic Temple is I support their griefing anybody that is trying to promote their Christian theocracy, but also the Satanic Temple has some problems. They don't like free speech. They will sue you if you use anything having to do with satanic fucking imagery and shit. Like, they are highly litigious and they will come after small groups, and it's bullshit. Just be careful when you're dealing with groups like the Satanic Temple.
Have inflamed debate and deepened division. We hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled. The Constitution makes no reference to abortion, and no such right is implicitly protected by any constitutional provision, including the one on which the defenders of Roe and Casey now chiefly rely, the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. That provision has been held to guarantee some rights that are not mentioned in the Constitution, but any such right must be deeply rooted in this nation's history and tradition and implicit in the concept of ordered liberty. The right to abortion does not fall within this category until the
I explained like the Fourth Amendment right to privacy.
Entirely unknown in American law. The Constitution does not prohibit the citizens of each state from regulating or prohibiting abortion. Roe and Casey arrogated that authority. We now overrule those decisions and return that authority to the people and their elected representatives. Obviously, if this is legit, obviously, this is the right decision. It's right constitutionally.
Obviously.
Right morally. There are two theories now on how this got leaked. One theory is that it was a liberal activist who was working for Justice Sonia Sotomayor. Sotomayor is the furthest left member of the court, and so a lot of the chatter is surrounding her staff. The second theory is that this may have been a hack. This went to the Politico national security reporter, so maybe it wasn't a leak from the court. Maybe it was just someone going in and finding it in the court emails.
So the idea that the right wing leaked it
was
not even crossed his mind.
That this was a leak. This is the sacrament for the left. Killing babies on the altar of progress is their highest sacrament.
Sir, if you know someone who is killing babies, report them to the police. Killing babies is an egregious act, and nobody on the left supports that. Report them to the cops if you see somebody killing babies. Michael Knowles, a baby has been born.
We're not talking about safe, legal, and rare. We are talking about abortion on demand without apology, shouted from the rooftops. People are shocked at the leak. They're shocked, they say, that you would have this kind of breach of trust on the court. I'm not shocked at all. Of course they leaked the opinion. These people kill babies. Okay?
A fetus does not equal a person. Nobody is killing a baby, Michael Knowles. Correct yourself.
The only purpose to leaking this right now.
Okay, yet some people do kill babies. That does happen. I mean,
not changing their opinion.
It happens. Like
the license to kill babies all around the country.
Not what he's talking about.
The secondary purpose will be to pressure Democrat legislators into making Roe versus Wade the law of the land. But the chief goal here is to intimidate the conservatives on the court. Do not let them do it. We knew there were going to be shenanigans now more than ever. Now, not just in my lifetime.
I mean, I can shut him the fuck up.
Politics. Now, more than ever, is the time to hold strong. If this opinion is legit, if the court is voting to strike down Roe v. Wade,
it will happen a lot more frequently.
Then Donald Trump has already secured his spot as one of the greatest and most consequential presidents in the United States ever in American history. This takes us all the way back to election 2016, the big debate over, well, should we support Trump? Well, Trump's got some problems, and he seems to have been kind of liberal in the past, but the judges, but Roe versus Wade, but getting those conservatives on the court, well, it's not worth it. I don't think he's going to really do it, and the judges won't hold firm. If this opinion is real, this resolves the question. This resolves the question because, one, Trump ended up being a very relatively conservative president, much more conservative than anyone thought. Trump did not turn out to be the crazy maniac who was going to overthrow democracy. He didn't do any of that. But more importantly,
he didn't turn out to be the crazy maniac that tried to overthrow democracy. Sir, that literally happened. He did indeed turn out to be a crazy maniac that tried to overthrow democracy. It was called January 6th. There was an insurrection. His chief of staff, his secretary of defense, both called him a threat to the Constitution. His secretary of state called him a threat to the Constitution. You're an idiot, Michael Knowles. Right-wingers are morons. He'd Absolutely do it again. I know, you're being sarcastic, Scrappy. Absolutely will do it again.
He will have been the guy who got Roe v. Wade overruled by getting 3 judges onto the court. Now, what the libs want to do is leak this so that, 1, they can cause riots in the streets. 2, they can get death threats to the conservatives on the court. That's what they're doing. That's what
riots.
they're out for. It's the only thing that they could be out for.
I'm all about it.
As part of that pressure campaign, they'll be pressuring the liberals in the House and in the Senate to pass a national law saying that abortion is a protected right. Now, they don't
ain't gonna happen.
Votes for that.
Unfortunately. He
Because
knows
you
that.
have to get over the filibuster. You need 60 votes in the Senate. That doesn't exist. You're not going to get Joe Manchin to vote for this. I don't think you're going to get Kirsten Sinema to vote for this. So then they'll have to get rid of the filibuster.
You will get Sinema and Manchin to vote for it, but that takes you to 50. You'll get Collins and Murkowski, maybe 1 or 2 other Republicans, possibly.
Moloch. That's what it's all about. They just
You ain't got 60.
to kill more babies. Can you? When you put it in those terms, it's so sick. It's so sick. But it's a mania, and it is their most deeply cherished right, quote unquote, in the country. And so they're going to try to do that. And they think that this will help them in the midterms.
Sorry, RB.
That's
Go
long
calm
answer.
your blood
They
pressure.
That turning this election into an election about abortion is going to help them. I think they're wrong about that. I don't think there's any evidence that this is going to help them. I think infanticide plays.
Don't want to be in a COVID crowd. If you're outside,
I think that it will.
You should be okay,
I
Dustin.
mentioned yesterday on the show, I said,
welcome,
Dustin. But I'm a little worried about the Dobbs decision. The reason I was worried is because John Roberts suggested that he was not going to write the opinion of the court. And I said, I'm not making any predictions here about how the case is going to turn out, but it seems like some things are a little off here. It seems like something. So if this is the case, that Sam Alito is writing the opinion of the
I'm all for packing the courts. I'm all for impeaching Thomas. I'm all for impeaching
Roberts is going to side with the liberals. We're
Kavanaugh.
We're not sure. The thing
Whatever. I'm all for Mandy's suggestion.
This draft was written in
It's time for guillotines. It's time to raise the boards.
It will be the most important political development in my lifetime, really, of the last 50 years. We're talking about 60 million babies. 60 million. We all use euphemisms when we talk about abortion and women's health care and reproductive
Now seems like a perfectly reasonable time to force people to have
We're
children.
talking about 60 million babies. The number is unfathomable. How many people in this country should be walking around right now and are not because of this decision in 1973? This is absolutely earth-shattering stuff. And actually, even beyond the question of abortion, this leaked draft of the court opinion has achieved another shocking goal, which is all of a sudden everyone's a biologist. All of a sudden you're seeing memes again, no uterus, no opinion. This is a war on women. You're seeing all these arguments from 10 years ago. I thought we didn't know what a woman was. Ketanji Jackson on this.
Oh, what an idiot.
Said that she can't tell what a woman is because she's not a biologist. All of a sudden, everybody's a biologist. Sam Alito can tell you what a woman is, and all the people reading Sam Alito can tell you what a woman is. Absolutely earth-shattering stuff. And I won't let the libs get me down. They're trying to gum this up. They're trying to pressure the conservatives to switch. What the conservatives need to do right now, just come out with the opinion. I don't know if it's in its final draft. This goes all the way back to February, so presumably it's in much better shape. Come out with the opinion. If the opinion is substantially different from this draft.
Now, he talks about the 60 million that would be walking around if they hadn't been aborted. I would like to point you to the Journal of Economics. Impact of legalized abortion on crime. We offer evidence that legalized abortion has contributed significantly to recent crime reductions. Crime began to fall roughly 18 years after abortion legalization. The 5 states that allowed abortion in 1970 experienced declines earlier than the rest of the nation, which legalized in 1973. With Roe v. Wade, states with high abortion rates in the 1970s and 1980s experienced greater crime reductions in the 1990s. In high abortion states, only arrests of those born after abortion legalizations fall relative to low abortion states. Legalized abortion appears to account for as much as 50% of the recent drop in crime. It's almost like unwanted children end up living hard lives. And that, yes, in cases, it is better to have not been born than to have been born indigent. Michael Knowles. Can't convince me otherwise.
Then we will know that the libs have succeeded at pressuring, at threatening violence. That's really what this is about, right? You whip up all of the riots. You're going to have a whole lot of mostly peaceful demonstrations coming out with Molotov cocktails and rocks and all the rest of it. And it will make a mockery of our system of government. I never want to hear about the norms. Our norms are sacred, cherished.
Unleaded gasoline as well.
Anymore. I never want to hear the stupid phrase, January 6th. This is so...
You never want to hear January 6th.
An attack on...
This is more egregious than January... What?
Ever was. It's not...
The leak of these documents, which was probably done by right-wingers, I'm on that side. Show me evidence to the contrary. I believe it was leaked by the right side of the court. He's saying that this leak is far more egregious than January 6th, where Donald Trump and his lackeys tried to end democracy. Fuck off, Michael Knowles.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
No, I am drinking a Dr. Enough that was brought to me. I had a friend from Tennessee that was down here. She just left a few hours ago. And she brought me like 2 cases of Dr. Enough. And I've had like 3 today. I love this shit. Tastes like college to me. This is a East Tennessee beverage, Dr. Enough. It's like a Sprite or a 7-Up. I believe it's got caffeine in it though. Rich in vitamins. It tastes like college to me. Like it brings back memories. I really enjoy it. No, they do not. I like the red ones too. She usually brings me a case of both, but she brought me 2 cases of the regular this time. I don't care. I'm sure sugar out there. I don't drink soda. Like I never drink soda, so it's always a treat. But when I do go out, like I'll order a Sprite, Sierra Mist, whatever they got at a restaurant. I don't trust making sweet tea. Too many times I'm let down by restaurant sweet tea, so I just order a Sprite. Oh, you like my ghost shirt? I got it when I saw him in 2016, maybe 2017. Seen him twice. Also, 2016 and 2017, 2017, 2018. I don't even remember anymore. Not high enough for this shit. Let's talk about the Supreme Court siding with a Christian group in their case against the city of Boston.
Today, the U.S. Supreme Court handed down a major decision in a case involving the city of Boston, the Christian flag, and freedom of speech. We covered the case closely here on Prime earlier this year. A private group applied to fly
high enough for this shit
flagpole, but was turned away because of its religious message. Today, the court said that move was unconstitutional. Our Devin Dwyer covers the court and joins us now for more on what this all means. Hey, Devin.
Lindsay, the decision written by Justice Stephen Breyer was unanimous. The Supreme Court ruled that the city of Boston violated the First Amendment when it denied the request of a private group called Camp Constitution to fly the Christian flag from one of the City Hall flagpoles on Constitution Day. Here's an image of that flag. It's a white banner with a little red cross in the corner. It's non-denominational. For more than a dozen...
God, I can't remember. There is a pledge to the Christian flag. We used to say it at like Vacation Bible School and shit. Also, I went to a Christian school. A lot of people don't believe that. I went to a Christian school my 8th grade year. I've had one of my teachers on the Troll Patrol. It was a very cool Christian school. But I don't even remember. light into my heart and a lamp into my feet or some shit. Like, I can't remember what it is.
In years, the city had allowed private groups of all kinds to fly flags on its flagpoles in honor of a special event or commemoration. More than 280 applications were approved over those years, but only one was rejected, and that was this flag, the Christian flag by Camp Constitution. The city argued that by flying that flag on its flagpole, it would amount to a violation of separation of church and state, illegal government speech. But the Supreme Court disagreed unanimously, saying that the city's flagpole was effectively a public forum, and you can't censor in public forum. Here's what Justice Breyer said in his opinion. He said, on balance, Boston did not make raising and flying private groups' flags a form of government speech. That means, in turn, that Boston's refusal to let Camp Constitution raise their flag based on its religious viewpoint abridged their freedom of speech. Now, this decision is being celebrated.
Now, I'm pretty cool with that decision, you know, if, like, we were allowed to go through whatever the process was and we could fly a right-wingers and morons flag on that flagpole. That's cool with me. I got a flag we can send up the pole. If that's the case, then cool. I'm down with the decision. It was unanimous by the court.
By religious conservatives and civil rights groups like the ACLU, which had sided with Camp Constitution in this case. It could lead to more free displays of religious symbols and expressions in public forums on government property. But the court also made clear, Lindsay, that those flagpoles at City Hall don't have to be public forums and that the city of Boston could change its policies if it so chooses. And it may do just that. Lindsay?
All right, we'll be keeping an eye on that. Devin, thank you.
I'm also cool with that. If they just like, all right, private groups can't display your flag. Cool. All right, that's fine. Let's check back in the election results. It is really tightened up in the Republican primary for the Senate seat in Ohio. J.D. Vance currently in the lead, with about a 6-point lead on Josh Mandel. Matt Dolan coming up third with 21.7% of the vote. Dan Whaley will be the Democratic challenger to Governor Mike DeWine in Ohio. In the 9th Congressional District, Teresa Gavarone leads in the Republican primary. Marcy Kaptur was uncontested. Unfortunately, Chantel Brown up Ohio's 11th district over Nina Turner. That's one of the things I'm not liking about this rundown. It's not telling us how much of the vote is counted. It gives us the raw vote totals, like Chantel Brown has 8,000, Nina Turner 3,000. I assume the congressional district, but it's also the city of Cleveland. Seems like a pretty high number. Republican primary, Eric Brewer is barely leading James Hemphill. But as I understand it, that's a pretty solidly blue district. It's where Cleveland is, and whoever wins the Democratic primary almost certainly be the congressperson from Ohio's 11th district. Frank Mervyn wins the Democratic primary in Indiana's 1st congressional district. Republican Jennifer Ruth Green wins, or no, has not been declared the winner yet. Either of them have been declared the winner, so I don't know if the percentage of the vote is high enough to declare a winner. Greg Pence won. We went over that earlier. Looks like Cynthia Worth will probably win in the Democratic primary in the Indiana 6th Congressional District, or 9th Congressional District. 6. Matthew Fife. Looks like he will win the Democratic primary, but has not been called yet in Indiana's 9th District. Much tighter race in the Republican primary. Yeah, Scrappy, this one I don't know if that's a high. That's why I wish we had a percentage of the vote that's been tallied with the Nina Turner race. So that we would know, because like it is Cleveland. I mean, there are millions of people in Cleveland, I assume. What kind of turnout are they seeing? It is a midterm, which is traditionally low turnout. Tell you what, let's do piece about the Ohio Senate race. Tightened up. That's the one with J.D. Vance and Josh Mandel. One of those two are going to be the challenger to Tim Ryan on the Democratic side. GOP primary for Ohio Senate will be a test for Trump, but probably a win for Trumpism. We watched a little mashup of the different candidates vying for the Trump love last night. Tuesday, voters in Indiana and Ohio will go to the polls to vote in primary elections for everything from Congress to county executive. One race in particular that everyone is watching, Ohio's Republican primary for the U.S. Senate. The contest has gotten a lot of attention for a couple of reasons. First, it's an open seat. Senator Rob Portman is retiring, and the election to replace him is wide open. Of the 7 Republicans running, 4 or 5 have a legitimate shot at the GOP nomination. And the winner of the GOP nomination will be a heavy favorite to become Ohio's next senator. Second, the primary is a chance for voters to nominate a very different kind of Republican from Portman, who served in the administrations of Presidents George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush, and was more willing than most members of his party to criticize former President Donald Trump. But now loyalty to Trump has become a key litmus test in the race to replace Portman. For example, all but one of the GOP primary candidates have embraced Trump's big lie. True, Ohio's junior senator is likely about to get Trumpier, but the candidates still fit different molds within the GOP, and even though Trump has now issued one of his coveted endorsements in the race, other factions of the party haven't given up the fight either, which means the primary will be a direct test of how much clout Trump has when other Republican elites dare to defy him. The race started out with a clear frontrunner, former state treasurer Josh Mandel, who at just 44 has already had a long career in Ohio politics, serving in the state legislature and running for U.S. Senate twice before. He lost to Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown in 2012 and dropped out of the 2018 race, citing a health issue with his then wife. Suburban moderate, Mandel has spent his this Senate campaign embracing right-wing culture wars and over-the-top rhetoric, becoming a favorite of ideological purists in the conservative movement like Texas Senator Ted Cruz and the Anti-Tax Club for Growth, both of which have endorsed him. However, Mandel struggled to lock down the nomination for much of 2021. The other candidates released dueling internal polls arguing that they were the most viable alternative to Mandel, who many Ohioans view as a ladder-climbing opportunist for the way he has globbed on to the Trump wing of the party. Former Ohio GOP chair Jane Timken was the first candidate to pose a threat after Trump reportedly came close to backing her early last year. Doesn't even look like she's in the running. An opening for Mike Gibbons, who has the backing of Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. I don't know why anyone would think that is a good thing. Gibbons is an investment banker and has spent almost $17 million of his own money. I'm glad he was in third. I'm glad you spent $17 million of your own money in a losing effort, sir. Congratulations, stupid ass Gibbons. Speaking of stupid ass Republicans losing money, let's talk about Donald Trump. Trump loses his bid to stay a contempt order in New York Attorney General probe. Trump is on the hook for $10,000 a day. For President Trump's motion to stay a contempt order against him for failing to turn over documents to New York Attorney General Letitia James has been denied, a spokesperson for James's office said on Tuesday. The decision by a state appellate court means the contempt order stands. Will have to keep paying a $10,000 per day fine as long as he doesn't turn over the documents amid James's investigation into the former president's businesses. A little more tax fraud on top of it. Well, if he doesn't pay, they will arrest him. He will go to jail over this. Hopefully, decision by a state appellate court means the contempt order stands, James's office wrote. James has been investigating Trump's business practices for more than 2 years. Trump was first held in contempt at the end of April. James had previously said her office found significant evidence that the company used fraudulent and misleading asset evaluations to obtain economic benefits. They most certainly did. I indeed have that story. We're getting ready to do some fucking cop news. And it's not going to be pretty. There are several egregious things the cops have been up to. That time of year, shit starts popping off with Israel in the Middle East. And the cops start acting like assholes. The former president has denied any wrongdoing, calling the investigation by James politically motivated. Trump is an idiot.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
And he most certainly is guilty. Trump entities agree to pay a $750,000 settlement for the D.C. inauguration lawsuit. Trump organizations and other entities tied to former President Trump agreed on Tuesday to pay $750,000 to settle a lawsuit with the D.C. Attorney General over payments to the Trump International Hotel in Washington during his 2017 inauguration. The lawsuit was filed in January of 2020, and it alleged that Trump's inaugural committee coordinated with the former president's business to overpay for event space. I love you too, Che. We're gonna get pissed off at some cops here in just a second. ACAB motherfuckers. They've been up to some bullshit. Lawsuit claimed that the committee violated its purpose as a nonprofit by paying up to $1 million to the Trump family through payments for the event space. Clawed back $750,000 from the Trump organization to give to local nonprofits educating youth about democracy and civics. D.C. Attorney General Karl Racine said in a tweet on Tuesday, "Solving our lawsuit and sending the message that if you violate D.C. nonprofit law, no matter how powerful you are, you'll pay." Trump's not having a good day, at least. That always makes me happy. Now, content warning. Because we are going to get to the cop stories, and they are going to piss you off. A Philadelphia cop has been charged in the shooting death of a kid.
Officer being held without bail this morning, charged with murdering a 12-year-old Thomas Siderio back in March. Eyewitness News reporter Waukesha Bailey joining us live from police headquarters with the latest developments in this case. What can you tell us, Waukesha? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Janelle. Well, the family of 12-year-old Thomas Siderio, also known as TJ, says that they are very happy about these charges being brought forth against the former Philadelphia police officer. Meanwhile, the DA's office, they're calling the shooting unjust.
TJ was a good kid. He shot him in cold blood. He shot him right over top of him. It's just ridiculous.
Monday morning, the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office announced charges against the former Philadelphia police officer.
Ed Saul Mendoza has now been charged with first-degree murder, third-degree murder, voluntary manslaughter.
Larry Krasner is a badass.
Found in a lengthy grand jury presentment. The document filed explained, on March 1st, Mendoza was part of a group of 4 plainclothes officers who confronted Thomas and his 17-year-old friend. The document goes on to say they believe Thomas's friend was connected to a stolen gun. When they attempted to stop the boys, a shot went off. The boys ran. Mendoza chased Thomas and fired his gun 3 times.
A shot went off. They don't say who fired. Believe me, if it was one of the kids whose gun went off, they would have said something. I'm pretty sure. A shot went off means that one of the cops discharged their gun and the kids ran. I don't know that to be a fact, but I know it's true. God, I just stole a bit from Bill Maher. God damn it.
Krasner and his team says Mendoza shot the 12-year-old knowing he was unarmed and ultimately killing him.
Thomas Siderio threw the gun around there, the gun around there, and pointed to the location of the gun.
It looks like Mendoza is standing and the 12-year-old is on the ground.
Following the DA's announcement, the attorneys representing Thomas's family spoke to media, calling Thomas's death murder.
They all know.
Yes!
That when a suspect,
cold-blooded murder,
let alone a 12-year-old, 5 foot, 111-pound young man, drops the gun, gets down, and basically surrender, you cannot use deadly force.
You should have never killed him. You could have did anything else to him.
And Mendoza is currently being held without bail. His preliminary hearing is scheduled for May 16. Reporting from police headquarters, Waukesha Bailey, CBS 3 Eyewitness News. The story
pisses me off. Cops just going around shooting kids. This one we might be able to give a little more leeway to the cop. Seem that they were dealing with someone, from what I understand about it thus far, they were dealing with someone who might have been having a mental episode. They also were in possession of a semi-automatic weapon, as I understand it. This happened in Washington, D.C. D.C. has identified officer who fatally shot an armed woman in uniform. City did not release body-worn camera footage of the incident, citing requests of the woman's family. I love your list of good cops, Adam. Also, my friend, you weren't here. You need to go back and watch the clip from, what was it, Sunday night, when the chud we were arguing with on Twitter actually called in. I told him I wouldn't take his call unless he fulfilled your GoFundMe and actually acted like a real Christian. It was awesome. He has blocked me on everything. He's a little bitch. The district identified the police officer who fatally shot an armed woman on April the 23rd as Simeon Crawford. They did not release body camera footage of the incident at the request of the woman's family. Deputy Mayor for Public Safety and Justice Christopher Geldert said in a Monday letter to the council, Crawford, who did not immediately respond to requests for comment, killed 42-year-old Erica Graham of Northwest Washington after police said she did not follow orders to put down her semi-automatic firearm. Not the first time that the officer was involved in a shooting on the job. Crawford was placed on administrative leave in February of 2021 after shooting a man who police said was armed and pointing a gun toward the officer. Police said it. So, doubt. Man survived and was charged with assault of a police officer while armed. His case is still pending. The April 23rd deadly event unfolded at about 6 a.m. in the 800 block of Crittenden Street Northwest when officers responded to reports of a shooting. One group of officers found a woman suffering from a gunshot wound in one of her arms, while another encountered Graham on a nearby front porch. Authorities said she was dressed in a special police officer's uniform and smashing windows while armed. Interesting. D.C. Police Chief Robert J. Conti III that just sounds like an asshole's name. D.C. Police Chief Robert J. Conti III. Conti, I'm sorry if you're a good guy, but then again, you're a cop, and all cops are bastards, so you're most certainly not. That officer shot her after ordering her to put down her firearm and to lie on the ground over the course of a minute or so. Officer Conti! Authorities said Graham is not registered as a special police officer in the district and is believed to have shot the other woman. Her family could not immediately be reached. Crawford was placed on administrative leave while the department's internal affairs unit investigates the incident. The city is required by law to release body camera footage within 5 business days after an officer-involved shooting, pending family approval. In the case of the 2021 shooting, D.C. police said the department completed the investigation and found Crawford's actions to be justified and within department policy because, of course, they did. The cops investigated themselves and found they did nothing wrong. He was later returned to full duty before the April shooting of Graham. Here's another one that's gonna piss you right off. It involves cops shooting a kid again. Kind of like a pastime of the cops here in the United States, shooting kids. Florida lawmaker pushes the Ocala, is that Ocala? Osceola sheriff for investigation for evidence. I'm fucked up. Did I say it right? This stupid town in Florida where this kid got shot. It's not Ocala.
Osceola.
Where's it at? As long as we're learning shit, let's find out where it's at in fucking Florida. In the middle of the fucking state. Osceola sheriff. Florida lawmaker pushes Osceola sheriff for evidence in deadly deputy shooting at a Target. Apparently, the kid had stolen some Pokemon cards.
It is a story we've been following now for almost a week. We are working to figure out what led up to deputies opening fire outside an Osceola County Target that left one person dead. Glad you're with us. I'm Lisa Bell.
I'm Ginger Gatz, and Julie is off today. This is News 6 at 4:30. Now, we've been pressing the Osceola County Sheriff's Office for answers since last Wednesday when the shooting happened just off 192 near Kissimmee. According to an arrest report, 2 people stole pizza and Pokemon cards from the store before getting into a car. 2 deputies fired their guns, killing one person.
People, I do believe it was kids. Pizza and Pokemon cards.
And injuring 2 others. But the sheriff's office has not released any information about what prompted the shooting. News 6's Jerry Askin is live at the Osceola.
I can tell you police incompetence.
Have you been able to learn anything about what led up to the shooting?
Essentially, no, and we keep asking questions today, working to find out what led deputies to open fire, the deputies involved, and even the ID of the man shot and killed by deputies. This happening as right now the sheriff's office remains tight-lipped, so I've been texting and calling the sheriff directly. We've got some questions about this case that happened at Target, Osceola County. Give me a call back when you can, please. Thank you. It's been 5 days, and Sheriff Marcos Lopez not returning our phone calls, though only saying 12 words via text today about that deputy-involved shooting outside this Target. He told me, quote, anything that pertains to the incident at Target, you must contact FDL Lee, end quote. The sheriff's office put out this brief press release late Thursday saying during the apprehension of 4 suspects, 2 deputies opened fire. But many of our questions to the sheriff's office remain unanswered. I emailed the sheriff's media team today asking for the ID of the suspects.
I want to know the ages.
The name of those 2 deputies who opened fire and more about what exactly led to the gunfire. I stopped by the sheriff's office today, too, for answers. And I just walked out the sheriff's office after trying to get a hold of the sheriff all day, and I was told that the public information officer for the sheriff's office also wasn't available. And it was our digging last week that led us to uncover the arrest of Michael Gomez and Joseph Lowe. The charging affidavit said they stole a pizza and Pokemon cards from the Target and then got into a black Audi. That's when deputies tried to make contact. But the report
How old were they?
Information about what happened next, saying a takedown was attempted and resulted in a deputy-involved shooting. Today, U.S. Congressman Darren Soto, who covers Osceola County, said, quote, we encourage the Osceola County Sheriff's Office to make facts and evidence surrounding this shooting public as soon as possible.
Yes, they opened fire in a parking lot, in a Target, in a bougie place, in a Target.
Quote, because this is an ongoing investigation involving a deputy shooting, we would have to wait until the FDL Lee investigation is complete before making any comments. Yeah, and back live here, the sheriff's office is citing Marcy's Law for the reason they won't name those deputies involved. Now, we have reached out to the FDL Lee, who said they're handling the officer-involved aspects of the investigation and will hand their findings over to the state attorney's office when complete. We're live here in Osceola County. I'm Jerry Askin, getting results, News 6.
It is a story.
We don't even know. We don't know enough to even. This is like today. This is today's news. The shooting happened at the end of last week. I don't know how old the kids were. Because I'm assuming they're kids. I'm assuming they were in their teens. Whether they be 19, 17, whatever, apparently they were getting in a car. Still fucking kids, and the cops just go around shooting kids, and it pisses me off. The amount they're hiding, exactly. There's more to it, and these cops need to be investigated. This one is a video that apparently has gone viral out of Louisiana. Content warning again, because the cop's gonna beat the fuck out of this woman. And of course there are chuds in the comments defending the actions of the cop.
A family's asking some tough questions tonight over the arrest that you're seeing in this video. The video emerged overnight of a confrontation with a St. Charles deputy arresting a much smaller woman. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for watching. I'm Katie Moore. It happened lightning fast, and the woman's family says it wasn't right. The sheriff's office?
No, it wasn't.
Differently. Meg Ferris has been speaking with both sides. She's joining us now in the studio. This is something.
Of course, the cops see it differently.
Absolutely, and there's plenty of video out there. Well, tonight there are 2 sides to a police arrest in St. Charles Parish that's playing out on cell phone video and police body cam video. Now, while making an arrest on a felony probation warrant of 26-year-old Keith Anthony Robinson Jr. of Paul Frederick Street in Luling, St. Charles deputies say his sister, 30-year-old Mary Lee Breon Robinson, while recording on her cell phone, was screaming, cursing, and getting too close to deputies as they were putting her brother in the police car. That's when Deputy Henry Sill appears to chase after Mary Lee Robinson to arrest her. Well, police say that she was kicking and punching the deputy resisting arrest. But the family says they believe it was excessive force, calling it abuse, because Mary Lee only weighs 140 pounds.
So she went around the truck with the...
It absolutely was excessive.
Get the footage of what was going on with him, and that's when he got mad and bum rushed her in the yard and threw her up against the trailer and started punching her in her face and in her head and everything.
People look at it as he was striking her, but he was doing what he had to do at that point to get her under control.
Fuck you! Fuck you, dude! He had her pinned down already. He was just taking out his angst that she ran from him. That's all it was. What a big man he was. Fuck you, dude. He should be charged with assault. Because let me tell you, what he did to that woman is probably more egregious than whatever she was fucking accused of. Fuck me. What was she accused of anyway?
Anthony Robinson Jr. of Paul Frederick Street in Luling. St. Charles deputies say his sister, 30-year-old Mary Lee Breon Robinson, while recording on her cell phone, was screaming, cursing, and getting too close to deputies.
Oh, bullshit! Oh, bullshit! Oh, she was screaming and cursing and getting too close to deputies. Fuck off! Fuck all the way off.
And in her head and everything.
People look at it as he was striking her, but he was doing what he had to do at that point to get her under control and get her handcuffed. She continued to resist the entire time. All she had to do was comply.
Now, St. Charles Sheriff's Office says it is
continuing
the investigation and has asked anyone out there with cell phone video to send it to them. The family has called the NAACP, who is now running its own independent investigation. Mary Lee Robinson faces a list of charges, including interfering with a law enforcement investigation.
She didn't do shit.
Of a police officer. We'll have that.
Battery of a police officer. No! No! He assaulted her. We all saw it. We all fucking saw it. Bullshit battery of a police officer. My ass.
Oh my God! Why you do, sir? Sir!
God damn it.
Oh my God! He punched you! Oh my God! Sir! Sir, stop!
He's still punching her.
Why is he doing that? Why are you doing
I believe that fucking hitting with the fist like that on the head, that's like even banned in UFC.
Oh my God!
Threw her up against the fucking trailer. God damn.
Oh my God! He punched you! Oh my God!
Fuck. Dr. XP, what's up? Welcome. Over in LA County, there's a sheriff featured on John Oliver over the weekend. And apparently he didn't take it too well. Los Angeles Sheriff Alex Villanueva makes John Oliver's point for him by saying a departmental leak is more serious than deputies kneeling on a man's head. Sunday on last week, tonight, John Oliver tore into Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanueva, who was facing an election this year amid allegations of secret deputy gangs, abuse of power, and cover-ups in his department, all of which Villanueva denies. His re-election bid this year has been overshadowed by claims in the LA Times that he directed a cover-up of an incident where one of the deputies knelt on a detainee's head for 3 minutes. What Oliver said on his HBO show, Oliver is referring to a news conference that Villanueva had last week to blast a variety of his opponents, both political and perceived, including election challenger. Yeah, he went after his challenger in the election and the reporter that broke the story. So this is his response to John Oliver, apparently.
Which criminal allegation do you consider more serious? The Deputy Johnson use of force or the leak of the video?
They're kind of like apples and oranges because they're different types of things.
and one's at the deputy line level. The other one is a higher level, and it's probably more serious because of the implications of it than the line.
It's the same playbook with the Supreme Court draft decision leaking. It's the same argument. It's just as the league is just as egregious as what's in the draft opinion. Fuck off, dude.
The leak is more serious.
Yeah, because it implies a lot more. That, for example, that decision by the deputy, be it judged to be legally defensible or not, that'll be made. That decision will be made. But that's a split-second decision. Remember, they were, he was being punched by the inmate, and that happened. But a decision due a leak, that's a calculated, deliberate decision. That's the difference between mistakes of the mind and mistakes of the heart. And it's also at a higher level, way higher level than that.
So the kneeling incident was a mistake of the heart.
A mistake of the heart.
Talk to the sheriff at some point or anybody about the actual great reforms he's done, about the actual things that we do in the department instead of sort of hacking for our opponents. That would be great. You'd have access to all the information he talked about, all the wonderful reforms he's done in the 4 years and all the plans we have in the next 4 years. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Javier, you were mentioned in the claim too. Javier.
Thank you.
Javier, you were mentioned in the claim
Don't put
too.
a mic
so
in like.
I want to give you a
The video they refer to is in this article. Reading from Deadline here. This is the video of the corrections officer who takes a swing at him. Yeah, the sheriff looks like he belongs in jail, and he probably does. The LAPD is absolutely corrupt. You can see the deputy kneeling on his head, does it for 3 minutes. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's officials attempted to cover up the incident because they feared it could shed negative light on the department, according to internal records. He's continuing to kneel on his head, on his neck. They're lucky they didn't injure him. Incident occurred at the San Fernando court lockup in March of last year, 2 days after jury selection began in the trial of Derek Chauvin. Fuck these cops. This is the incident that John Oliver highlighted. Kate Cagle is this reporter. In a stunning moment, Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanueva revealed LASD is investigating his political opponent, the Inspector General, and the LA Times reporter after leaked video exposed a deputy kneeling on a handcuffed inmate's head.
Kneeling from the LA Times under investigation by the department.
The matter is under investigation. All right.
Is she under the investigation?
The matter is under investigation. This is stolen property that was removed illegally from people who had some intent, criminal intent, and it'll be subject to investigation. We will not be the only party investigating this.
This dude is corrupt as fuck.
We'll also be thoroughly investigating this and monitoring what we're doing, and it will be handed over to the appropriate prosecutorial agency so they make a determination.
Sheriff, are you going to answer the question? You placed your picture up there alongside two other people, and you talked about it in terms of a criminal investigation. Is this Los Angeles Times reporter under investigation by the department?
I hope the LA Times
under investigation. All
sues the shit out of him.
Are subjects of the investigation. Now, that's why we do investigations. We don't just walk away and say, oh, well, oh, well, so sad. No.
Is she one of the parties?
Well, she received the information, and then she put it to her own use. What she receives legally and puts her own use, and what she receives illegally and or the LA Times use it, I'm pretty sure that's a huge, complex area of law and freedom of the press and all that. However, when it's stolen material, at some point you actually become part of the story. So that's up to the LA Times to decide that. Sir.
You should definitely answer the LA Times questions. I think we'd all agree with that here, but that's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker. Which weed? He said. Indeed. I was trying to get some polling on the race. Utopia here. How's this motherfucker gonna get reelected? Primary will occur on June 7th, 2022. The general election will occur on November 8th. General election candidates may be added here following the primary. The nonpartisan primary election. It was pretty close in 2018, the last time he ran, with 52.9% going to Villanueva and Jim McDonald getting 47%. There's no polling here to look at. So it's hard to say whether he is going to win re-election or not. I'm not up on my LA County politics. You know what? Climate change. Climate change is going to be a good thing for cops, apparently. Because these lower lake levels are resulting in more bodies being found. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm laughing at this.
Up at Lake Mead, a grim discovery. Boaters spotting a body inside a barrel there. Police say they've already performed an autopsy on the remains and have labeled this as a homicide. Officers believe that body has been in Lake Mead for decades, dating back to the 1980s. The investigation is just beginning, and the next step will be to identify.
Oh, they just pin it on people. They pin whoever the fuck they want to pin it on. They ain't actually solving anything. Come the fuck on. Let's check back in with the election results. J.D. Vance wins Republican Senate primary in Ohio. Wow. I didn't think he was gonna pull it off. I thought Mandel was gonna win. I was clearly wrong. J.D. Vance pulling it out. That's probably a good thing. That probably increases Tim Ryan's chances, to be honest with you. The Trumpier and the stupider they are gonna increase Tim Ryan's chances.
You think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yes. They have not called the 11th District Democratic primary where it's Shontel Brown versus Nina Turner. Shontel Brown still seems to be up by quite a large margin, but once again, we don't know the percentage of the 15% of the vote estimated reported. Oh, that's in a specific county. Maybe. Only 15% of the vote. It's still possible. Nina Turner can pull it out. Damn, they're really slow in counting the votes there. Pretty much the races of note. J.D. Vance. Wow. J.D. Vance wins the Senate race in Republican primary in Ohio. That's going to be interesting. Man, election day in fall, November is going to be a wild ride. I think I might have played this video before, but goddamn, it's cute. You can watch it again. This is Angelica. Little bear cub. Angelica's cute as shit. J.D. Vance rides the stench of DJ Trump to victory in the primary. RB with the call on that one. Let's go say hey to Ricky tonight. If you are watching on Twitch, we're going to head over and say hey to Ricky the Great One. I can't believe Mandel didn't pull it out. Oh, listen to that cute thing. Stop me from cuddling with that thing. That little bear, you're gonna get all the fucking lovins from me. I just stick my nose and let him fucking, he can chew on my nose. If you're watching on Twitch, we're going to head over to Ricky the Great One's channel. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. See you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol. Live.